Howdy, YouTube. We are back. We are nearing the end of the Shaz Plays the New Niji Songs series. And we are now on Emma's new solo, Itsudatte for You. 9.91 million to S rank on advance. So this is a very, very hefty song voltage-wise by appearance. However, you do get 2.7 million if you clear all the ACs. So this brings down the raw voltage total that you need between taps and gauges down to 7.2 million in 171 notes, which is not really too bad. The 720 damage per note may be an issue for some people if you're running stamina shielders versus stamina healers. So do be mindful of this as you're building your teams. Now there is a song gimmick of non-third years lose 20% base appeal. Is it cleansable? No. It's also in the active attribute, so can kind of see where this is going. There is only one note gimmick, which happens over here, right before the 4th AC, which says, if hit, guard-type cards gain a 20% skill activation rate up for the next 20 notes. We have our first AC, which is a gauge AC, providing third years with a 50% gauge gain rate up. Second AC, which requires 6 crits and gives voltage-type cards a 30% crit chance rate up. The third AC, which requires 140k voltage from your gauge, again gives third years a 50% gauge gain rate up. The fourth AC, which comes right after this lone note gimmick, which says activate 4 tap skills. Upon AC success, restore 30% of your stamina. And you have your 5th AC, 153k voltage, with third years gaining 50% gauge gain rate up. And the 6th and final AC, which is 140k voltage from your gauge. Again, third years gain a 50% SP gauge gain rate up. So, building this song is not going to be too difficult. And Marth in the Twitch, Marth Michael Kaito in the Twitch chat mentions, and it's a good note. This is the second active third year based song with Turn It Up, Canon Solo being the other one. Is that really an issue? Not terribly, but you know, if you're one of the people who have either joined the game late or never ended up scouting for First Fest Kanan, or Second Fest Ellie, both of these songs may pose a bit of a challenge to you. Now, as far as how I'm gonna build it, since everything is based on third years, we are not going to overthink it. We are going to start with a First Fest Kanan center. We are going to put in First Fest Mari as our healer. Now, as far as the last card goes, we do need 6 crits on the second AC. So what I'm going to do, because it prioritizes voltage type cards, I'm just going to put Setsuna in here. I am going to lose a little bit on the appeal, but I think it'll be okay. Now, if you did want to run a third year's side strat for the tap skill AC, you could. What I would actually advise, though, because it's a shorter appeal chance, you definitely should be able to actually, if you happen to have Fest Kanata, Magical Time Nozomi, and Initial Kanan, if you are having issues with getting that tap skill AC to clear, put all 3 of these appeal boosters in one strategy, switch to this particular strategy when you get up to that 4th AC, and you should be okay. Oh, I take that back. I misspoke. You need guard types. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna need to edit that out. Guard types. It's a short AC. It's only 11 notes long. You can put in either... You don't have to necessarily sacrifice a whole bunch of appeal. I would basically take your 3 highest appeal guard type cards and throw them in the side. You know, whether... And even if it's damage reducers, you know, like an initial Honoka, like a Valentine's Day Mari, if it's Steam Maiden Kanata, right? Basically, even if you're running a full strategy of like damage reducers, and they're all guard types, the only thing that should matter is that they're all guard types. Because when you pick up that skill activation rate up note for guard type cards before you head into that AC, you should just be able to switch to a triple guard type team or even a double guard type team, and you should still be okay. Alright, so we're going to turn this on autoplay. And I was telling the chat right before we started recording, it's nice to have this little bit of like, the chat described it as Shuffle Festival comes to All-Stars, where a lot of the girls are singing songs that you wouldn't normally associate with them. And like for this particular Emma song, my initial thought was that this feels so much like either Arena or an Ayumu song. Like, I could hear either of them singing this. And I made the point that this more so sounds like Rina just because of the way the song feels. Like, it, to me, this feels kind of akin to like Doki People Emotion. But it's nice to hear a lot of the girls kind of show off their versatility when it comes to singing a lot of these songs. Oof. That did not work out well for me, but that's okay. You know, we're kind of getting away with having 3 really strong cards here. So even though we have missed that AC, it is still gonna help. You know, we're still gonna pass it with flying colors. Again, if you are having issues with beating these songs, I'm running these songs without a guest. If you are having issues, I would suggest first, try and see if you can get a hold of a Party Shioriko guest from your friends list, because she gives out the most appeal boosting, and gives you a little bit of gauge gain within your ACs. After that, the next 2 cards I would look for if you need a guest: first Fest Kanan, second Fest Yo. Alrighty, so with that, we will head over to the alt count, and see, we should be able to do really well on this with the alt account, and we'll head over to that right now. And here we are on the alt account playing Itsudatte for You. Another pretty straightforward song. Non-third years lose 20% base appeal, which shouldn't bother us too much since we have Kanan and Ellie, with only 1 note gimmick that gives guard type cards a 20% skill activation rate up for the next 20 notes. And this happens before the 4th AC, which requires you to activate 4 tap skills. So, to ensure that we're going to pass that AC, I've loaded in 3 guard type cards. And luckily for us, Itsudatte for you is in the active attribute. So we will be getting the attribute match bonus on Kanan, Setsuna, and Ellie. So this song should be pretty easy. Again, I think if you're watching this video and you're having issues, there is a wonderful resource at Suyo, suyo.be. Suyo has a note database where you can basically look up every single song in the game. You can look up the S rank. You can look up all the gimmicks. You can look at where the ACs are. And one of the biggest things that I think people tend to overlook, especially on regular lives and clearing them for the first time, is the amount of reward voltage that you get for the appeal chances and clearing them. Even though this may seem daunting at 9.9 million voltage to S rank, after the AC reward voltage, it actually comes down to about 7.2 million voltage that you need, for a raw total. Which, all you need is like 1 card, to be, close to max limit break, and then maybe a couple other limit breaks on some other cards, and then you should be okay. And the only reason why I switched there was because I wanted to make sure that I would get the fill off. We need another gauge, so I'm switching to this side strategy. Here we go, we're switching to the guard type strat. And for this song, as compared to a lot of the other songs, it does have 720 damage per note, which is higher than the average damage per note song, but it's not like some of the other songs that are dealing 900 plus damage per note, so you shouldn't need to worry about your stamina too much on this song. There we go. 15.2 million. Now, again, we were running fully on attribute with 2 third years. That really, really helps as far as the scoring goes. So, if you don't happen to have, if you happen to have either First Fest Kanan or Second Fest Ellie, you basically only need to use one of them to be able to S rank the song, especially if you get a good enough guest card, a consistent guest like a First Fest Kanan or a Second Fest Yo, you should be able to do this pretty handily. And so now, not any different, but we'll go over to the JP server and we'll see how we do there. And here we are on JP, playing Itsudatte for you. Like Turn It Up, we're basically lucked into having one of the best strategies for this song, combining First Fest Kanan along with Second Fest Ellie. Now, unlike Turn It Up, this particular song, right, we do have to worry about the 4th appeal chance, activating 4 tap skills. For that 4th appeal chance, you basically just have to get lucky, make sure your tap skills activate on time. There isn't any skill activation buff in that particular appeal chance, so and because the gimmick for that one is if you clear the appeal chance, you get to restore 30% of your max stamina. Um, if you're able to get away with, just a decent amount of healing, um, whether it be through a First Fest Ruby, um, First Fest Rico, any of the like the really really good stamina healers, you can kind of ignore that particular AC. You know, it will deal you 18,000 damage. Um, but that's not the most difficult part of the song, I think. To me, the most troublesome part of the song is going to continue to be those 140k gauge appeal chances at ACs 3 and 6. Um, and the first appeal chance, while it can be kind of troublesome, being able to fill a gauge in 30 notes is can get a little bit hectic. Um, if you do need to, I would suggest, maybe use one of your side strategies. For me, either green or blue. Use one of these strategies if you're having issues, getting that first appeal chance to kind of get the ball rolling. Maybe fill this with fillers, or split them between, like, if you happen to have third year fillers and third year healers. Maybe splitting this particular strategy with like an extra filler or two fillers and a guard type card, to help you kind of generate a couple of skill activations in that fourth appeal chance. I would say, you know what, go ahead and do it, because your front line should, keyword here, should be able to score you enough on this song. Especially if you've been playing a decent amount and you've been utilizing your radiance and some of the free school idol wishes we've been getting from the marathons events and stuff like that. And if you're putting them towards your stronger cards, then it'll definitely make the song a lot easier. And I talked about this in one of the other songs. Is it really really necessary to have one really really strong card? No. You can play the game however you want to. The only reason why I suggest it is because especially having at least one strong card, it makes the path to a lot of this mid to later game content a lot easier to stomach and a lot easier to go through. If you like playing the game on hard mode, and let's say you're a Daya Oshi, right? Daya hasn't really gotten many great cards. Her party card is okay, but it's not something game breaking. And if you spent a lot of radiance and stuff like that, keeping your Daya bond levels up, you don't. You have her First Fest card, which is okay. You have her party card, which is also kind of okay, but like, again, nothing game breaking. Don't worry about it too much. If you have like at least a couple of cards that, regardless of what attribute, if you have one or two cards that you feel pretty confident in, will get you through a lot of some of this mid and late game content, then you're actually pretty fine already. If you're not at that point and you're finding that some of the songs are a little bit harder to pass, like whether it be a Bokuhika or an Aoi Kanaria or songs of that kind of ilk, then I would start to maybe prioritize, okay, let me set aside, the next couple of limit breaks worth of school idol wishes we're getting from the marathon events. Let me set those aside for buffing up, whether it be a second fest Maru, or if we're talking about a regular gacha card, a great gacha card with a high appeal value, if you happen to have it, is Dreamy Kids Land Arena, the pure attribute voltage type card. be mindful. Go onto your websites. Um, go onto Kirara, start to look up the cards, see which ones are stronger, have higher appeal values of like 12 or 13,000 at max limit break or higher, and then maybe start to work on those cards. And again, if you guys have any questions about cards or team building or whatever, always feel free to stop by on Twitch. For the most part, I stream 5 days a week. Lately, we've been having to cut that back down to 4 due to work responsibilities. But if you have any questions about All Stars, I'm always free, even if I'm playing a different game other than All Stars. I've been on a Genshin kick recently. Just started learning how to play the game. I have no problems stopping whatever I'm doing and being able to help you, the player, out on trying to beat some of these songs with some of your card pool issues. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Itsudatte for you plays. I am the Shaz. Take it easy. Be nice to everybody, and I'll see you all next time.